with a connector like that. It's RJ45. It's like a big telephone jack. And most of us already know that. We have routers, the switch and hubs. The switch and hubs are usually closed. I mean, the switch can do a little bit more than the hub, but routers are intelligent devices that can make routing and usually make decisions about the streams of packets that we receive. Those can be wired or wireless. And we have network cables, category 5 network and category 6. Usually those are the two popular network cables that we will use. The category 5 is 100 megabits per second speed. The category 6, also called a gigabit, is 1,000 megabits per second or 1 gig transmission speed. And we also have a power over Ethernet. Usually it's 48 volts. But some cameras use less than 48 volts. So you will have a switch, power switch to down the power level. And power over Internet, the camera that supports power over Internet will use one cable for both data and power, which will be one of these two category 5 or category 6 network cables. We also have wireless video devices. We saw that, some of them. We have, wireless IP cameras.
When did I use Cat 5 over Cat 6?
I'm sorry? What?
When did I use Cat 5 versus Cat 6? What would be the
Okay.
application?
The network device will come with a specification. It was either designed for 100, well, mostly, we have experience less than this in, in video cameras or streaming video. But some routers, and in this case we're talking about the local area network. Some routers are gigabit routers, which means the speed of inside, the network inside is 1,000 megabits per second speed. And some routers, like the older routers, will have a speed of 100 megabits per second. And so is a switch.
Which
So-
Cat 5 is not as fast as
So
Cat
mostly in this case, we're talking about the local area network.
There's also different, there's Cat 5, Cat 5e, so there's Cat 5e cable rated to 350 megahertz, right?
Mhm.
And there's also Cat
Mhm.
6, and you have now 10 gig Cat 6 cable as well, so you have, you have different speeds, yeah.
So before we used to have 10 megabits per second. I mean, the speed is usually varied, but mostly when we have to consider the speed, we're talking about the local area network, because we know we cannot have that much speed on the internet when we get out of our router. So common IP camera software. Most of the software and the examples that I will give you here are free software. Like TCP/IP comes with every operating system, whether it's Windows, Macintosh, or every other operating system. It's transmission control protocol, internet protocol. Usually, TCP establishes connection between the two hosts, like the camera and the computer, the camera and the router, to exchange streams of video. And IP will specify the format of the streams, like how many frames per second. And also the addressing scheme. I mean, where is this video stream going to? Like the client software will request the video. So the camera or the router will have to make sure that it sends that video stream to the client that requests, not to other clients. And as we will see later on, there is a private and public IP addressing. And that is a local area network or the one which the internet. So we also have, we will see later on, IP configuration page on Internet Explorer. And every camera that comes with a CD software, almost all cameras will come with the CD software. This is the software CD that comes with one of the camera lines. So if you install the software CD, then you will open that application, and we will have this screen. So this screen shows all the cameras in that network, in that local area network. Or if there is some kind of routing, other cameras that, like for example, there are two buildings, and we have cameras on the two buildings. But we may have, router switch. We search and we find all the cameras. So we will be able to set up the cameras, change the IP address, change the port, and we can do more. And we can also link the camera, select the camera, and then link it to Internet Explorer. So we will be able to configure, instead of using this software, we will be able to configure it with Internet Explorer. We will see next page. So here, we link the camera to the Internet Explorer. Instead of using the proprietary software we saw before, we can just use Internet Explorer. Like you see all the settings on the left. We can change all the settings like the port the camera will use, the IP address, and it's always important to set IP cameras for a fixed IP address. The fixed IP address will save you a lot of traffic in the future because the IP address will not change. Like in case there is a power loss, or in case the DHCP on the router, wants to change the IP address, we don't want to set it to dynamic. We need to set it for fixed IP address. Some useful commands, and these commands, they're free. I'm not showing anything that you have to pay for. Mostly I use these, or some other more, things that I use to troubleshoot things. So these commands, some of them I use on MS-DOS command prompt. The IP config command is the IP configuration command. Will show you your local IP address